The math doesn't add up. And neither does life. You can't feed your soul on $15 an hour when your rent is $2,000. But that's the reality that too many Gen Zers face as they hustle through a world that's designed to chew them up and spit them out. It's the grind. The endless hustle. Working full-time, but never quite getting ahead. Stuck in that loop, stuck in that spiral. A never-ending race where the finish line keeps moving farther away. You clock in at 9 a.m., slip on that name tag, and pretend you don't mind that the customers who walk in don't even notice the weight you're carrying. But your shoulders ache. Your bones feel heavy. You're running on fumes. And yet, you keep showing up. You show up because you don't have a choice. You work hard. But what does it all add up to? The hours stretch on like an unbroken road, leading you nowhere. By the end of the month, you're still counting pennies, wondering how it's possible to work so much and still be broke. The bills pile up, the rent's due, your credit card statement gives you anxiety every time you open it. And yet, you keep going. Day after day. Because what else can you do? Maybe you've been there, too. A retail job at a chain that doesn't care about you. Fast food, delivering, or flipping burgers to make ends meet. Maybe you thought it'd be temporary. Just a stepping stone. But here you are. Months later. Years later. Still grinding. Still stuck in that place where your hours don't add up to your worth. Where you can't even afford to live, let alone thrive. But it's not just about the numbers. It's about what they do to your mind. The constant worry. The gnawing anxiety that never quite leaves. How do you make it through the day when your mind is preoccupied with bills, debt, and the feeling that no matter how hard you work, you're still behind? When the workday ends, it doesn't really end. There's still the stress. Still the looming dread. Still the reality that you don't have enough. And maybe, you never will. You look at the world around you and wonder, when did it all go wrong? When did the promise of hard work not lead to the American dream? It feels like the rules changed overnight. Like the finish line moved, and you weren't told. You did everything right. You went to school, got the degree, took the job. But all of that still doesn't feel like enough. You're exhausted. You're burnt out. And yet, you can't stop. You can't slow down. Because the bills won't wait. The constant cycle of just barely getting by, does it ever end? Does it ever stop feeling like you're just running, never really going anywhere? You've been told your whole life that if you just work hard enough, you'll make it. But what happens when you work your ass off and still can't get ahead? What happens when the system just keeps taking and taking from you, while the people at the top just keep getting richer? The truth is, it doesn't make sense. A living wage is a joke when you're making minimum wage. And the divide between the cost of living and what you're actually paid has never been wider. You're expected to thrive in a world that doesn't allow it. The dream feels like a lie, a fantasy only available to a select few. But you? You're just trying to survive. Day after day. Hour after hour. For what? And it's not just about the money. It's the toll it takes on your mental health. The anxiety that gnaws at you, the constant worry that you won't make it through the month. It's the depression that creeps in when you realize you've worked your ass off, only to see your bank account barely move. The pressure. The stress. The weight of it all. It eats at you, day after day, until you don't even recognize yourself anymore. You start to wonder if this is all there is. A lifetime of stress, a lifetime of scraping by, never quite getting ahead. Is this really the best you can hope for? Is this really what life is supposed to be? Or is there something wrong with this picture? It's easy to feel defeated. It's easy to think you're the problem, that you just haven't worked hard enough, haven't done enough. But that's not true. This isn't your fault. The system is broken. And you're stuck in it. You're not alone in this. But it sure as hell feels that way sometimes. It feels like no one sees you. No one understands. No one gets what you're going through. But they do. They've been there. We've all been there. But here's the thing, there is a way out. It might not be easy. It might not come overnight. But there is a way to break free from this cycle. It starts with asking the right questions. It starts with understanding that working full-time should not mean living part-time. It starts with knowing your worth. And realizing that you don't have to settle for a life that makes you feel small. You're worth more than $15 an hour. You're worth more than the hours you give, more than the stress you carry. But the world doesn't always see that. So, it's time to start seeing it for yourself. But how do you even begin to see your worth when you're drowning in the noise of your daily life? How do you build a future when the present feels like quicksand pulling you under? The weight of student loans, the pressure to make it in a world that demands more than anyone can reasonably give, all while struggling to find a moment to breathe between shifts. It feels like the dream you were sold is a distant illusion. A promise of success and happiness, wrapped in shiny packaging but hollow on the inside. And here you are, trying to hold it all together. You see posts online, everyone seems to be doing it, right? They're hustling, building empires, posting their side hustle wins, their late-night grind. It's all too easy to look at others and feel like you're missing out. You're doing everything you're supposed to, right? You work hard. You're driven. But somehow, it's still not enough. And that's the thing. The lie that's been sold to you is that hard work equals success. But what if the system is rigged from the start? What if success is reserved for those who already have the privilege of starting ahead? You're exhausted. Physically, mentally, emotionally. And yet, you keep going. You're stuck in that cycle of, if I just work harder, it'll pay off, but it never quite does. Instead, the anxiety builds. The fear of failure looms. Your mental health takes a hit, and the pressure mounts, leaving you wondering if you're just stuck in a hamster wheel that's getting faster and faster, but never leads anywhere. And here's where it gets heavy. The weight of living paycheck to paycheck doesn't just affect your finances, it takes a toll on your mental well-being. Research is clear, financial stress is one of the leading causes of anxiety and depression, especially among young people. When you're constantly fighting to stay afloat, your brain doesn't have the bandwidth to focus on much else. You can't focus on your passions, your creativity, or even your relationships. All you can focus on is the next bill, the next payment, the next, how am I going to make it? The constant worry becomes a background hum in everything you do. And so, you bury your feelings. You hide the struggle. Because there's shame in being broke, right? In not having it all together. So, you put on the mask, show up to work with a smile, and pretend everything's fine, even though inside, it feels like you're breaking apart. You wonder if anyone even cares. If anyone will notice when you've had enough. But the thing is, they do. Others are feeling it, too. They're just too busy putting on their own masks to show it. But here's a question for you. When was the last time you stopped and asked yourself why you're doing this? Why you're working, why you're sacrificing your mental peace for a system that doesn't value you? When was the last time you checked in with your soul to see if this is the life you want to be living? And don't just ask it once and forget about it. Ask it every day. Because the grind will tell you it's the only way. The world will tell you that you're lazy if you slow down. But there's power in slowing down, in taking a step back and seeing things clearly. You're not lazy for wanting something more. You're not weak for wanting a life that doesn't suck the life out of you. The grind can be toxic, and so can the idea that your worth is measured by the hours you put in. So many are stuck in the more mindset, more work, more hustle, more sacrifice. But what if the key to healing, to really thriving, is not about more, but about less? What if the answer is in finding balance? A work-life balance that doesn't just exist as a buzzword, but as a real, achievable goal? What if it's about valuing yourself beyond the paycheck? What if it's about finding meaning in work, not just money? Imagine a life where your worth is measured by how you feel, how fulfilled you are, how aligned you are with what you want, not just how many hours you've worked, how many zeros are in your paycheck, or how many things you've checked off your to-do list. It won't happen overnight. Change rarely does. But it starts with the questions. It starts with taking a deep breath, realizing that this hamster wheel you're running on is not the only way forward. You can ask for more. You can demand more from a system that has conditioned you to accept less. And the most important thing? You can give yourself permission to slow down. To rest. To just be. Because here's the truth, if survival costs everything, what's left for living? And maybe, just maybe, that's the question we all need to be asking. It's a haunting question, isn't it? If you're giving everything just to survive, what's left to live for? You work to make ends meet, but in the process, you lose sight of the things that make life worth living. The joy of small moments, the spark of creativity, the freedom to do something just because it fills your soul, not your bank account. But here's the rub, the world is designed to keep you in that cycle, to make you believe that the hustle is the only way. It's a game, and if you're not playing by their rules, you're told you'll be left behind. And when you're barely staying afloat, the idea of getting ahead can seem impossible, almost laughable. You're not lazy. You're not failing. You're just trapped in a system that thrives on keeping you busy, exhausted, and always wanting more. You're not alone in this struggle. It's the reality of a generation that's being asked to do the impossible. To work full-time, keep up appearances, pay off mountains of debt, and still somehow have the energy to dream. But what happens when that dream feels out of reach? What happens when the very foundation of your future seems to crumble beneath the weight of student loans, mounting bills, and a job that leaves you no time to breathe, let alone build the life you want? You feel stuck, suffocated, and angry. Angry because you know you deserve more than this. Angry because the system tells you it's your fault. Angry because all you want is a chance to thrive. But you deserve that chance. You deserve to live, not just survive. And maybe that's the key to it all, understanding that survival isn't enough. You deserve to experience life in its fullest form. To chase your dreams, not just chase after the next paycheck. To find meaning in your work, to find passion in the things that make you feel alive. So how do you begin to break free from this cycle? How do you start to live, not just exist? It starts with small steps. It starts with choosing to prioritize yourself over the grind. It starts with redefining success on your own terms, rather than letting the world dictate it for you. It's about taking back your time, taking back your mental health, and demanding that your life have meaning beyond the paycheck. You don't have to do it alone. There are others who feel just like you. People who are tired of the grind, who are looking for more. There's a community of people out there who are ready to stand together, to ask the hard questions, to demand change. The journey may be long, but it's not one you have to walk by yourself. And as you start to walk this path, take a moment to remember, you are not defined by your job, your paycheck, or your debts. You are not just a cog in the machine. You are a human being, full of potential, full of dreams, and you deserve a life that reflects that. You deserve to feel whole. You deserve to experience joy. So, what does living look like to you? When you finally let go of the grind, when you stop chasing after the paycheck and start chasing after the things that make your heart beat a little faster, what will you find? Will it be peace? Will it be freedom? Will it be the ability to finally breathe without the weight of financial stress pressing down on you? It's a question you get to answer. No one else. And that's where the real power lies. It's in your hands. The path won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Because if survival costs everything, then what's left for living? And maybe, just maybe, that's the most important question you'll ever ask. As you sit with that thought, ask yourself, what's the cost of living this life you're trying to build? Are you trading everything for survival, or are you finally making space to live fully? If you've felt this, if you've been there, struggling, grinding, dreaming of something more, remember, you're not alone. The fight for your peace, your future, your mental health, it's worth it. It starts with you. It starts with asking the hard questions, with slowing down, with redefining success on your terms. If this resonated with you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Together, we can create a space where it's okay to not be okay, and where we start redefining what it means to truly live. And hey, stick around, next time, we dive deep into the weight of student debt. Student debt anxiety, the weight of a $100,000 loan. It's a story a lot of us are living. You won't want to miss it. Stay tuned. Take care of yourself.